Hi guys, welcome back to another all-around Sorare podcast. Today we're going through a very, very special update, the new Sorare roadmap. I'm doing it with myself, Sorare Capital. How are you doing today, my friend?
Yes, doing well, mate. Doing well. It's nice and chill. What about you?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you. We really enjoyed our stream yesterday. We went through Sporting Gijon versus Real Oviedo. That was
Beautiful.
it was an unfortunate result, but yeah, a great live stream between ourselves,
Do you
wasn't it?
know? Do you know what I might do? I might actually edit in the goal or the my celebration to the goal. So if I did do that, I'll try to do it.
Iberian Peninsula, things can
Well done,
change
Jimmy.
rather quickly, and there's a shot, and that one's in
Oh
the...
my god!
Oh, but
Surprised it's not a GIF yet, going around viral.
yeah, it's brilliant. But yeah, it's
No, it was brilliant.
big update, isn't it? Big update for Sorare.
Yeah, it is a big update. I think everyone and the dog has sort of been through the update, start to finish. I tried to record by myself, and my audio didn't work for some reason, so that's annoying. But luckily, that was probably for the best because it's like 30 minutes, like a 30-minute read. It's a huge.
Oh, so you
Just
recorded for
huge
30 minutes and it's.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
nothing.
no. Oh, damn it.
It's a shame. But so just get your thoughts quickly, Cap, on the new loop, which is entering old cards into your classic season competitions to get new cards to enter them in to get cash. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, to be honest, I quite like the idea, and I know, but I can only speak of like I don't know. I can only speak of like what I think is going to be good for the good for Sobo in general, not in particular to anyone's gallery. So I'm not really taking that in mind because I know it will hurt a lot of people. But at the same time, I don't think it will. I think a lot of people assume that it's going to hurt them because a lot of people are in for these cash prizes. But I think for these in-season cards, they're going to be probably more expensive than they ever were. Surely, if you start winning them, because they've got like some really good utility. Because a lot of people do want to go into it and go into the ETH and cash rewards. So, but I quite like the idea, to be honest, of it whole being a whole like it's almost like a little cycle. Do you know what I mean? Like you buy you got your classics. A lot of people saying, "Oh, you don't have any utility with your classic cards; they're useless." It's like not sure where you're getting that from. Especially with these loot boxes and stuff. Obviously, we're yet to see the percentages in each one and the drop rate for a card because that's going to be quite important, I think. But yeah, overall, I quite like the whole classic thing. Gives some utility. I think it would be because I think the Nepenthes said this as well. I said you said you watched it as well, and he mentioned the fact that obviously it's probably unfair that you have a now classic card and you can just sit on it for years and years and years and years
Yeah,
with the
I
same
have that.
utility as new season. So they had to do something where new cards have to have the upper hand on the older cards, and that is purely what this is. And I think it's a good idea or a good step for it anyway.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very respectable opinion. I think, as people know, if they listen to our podcast, we love to talk about, so rare and new users as a whole topic.
Yeah.
What are your whole thoughts on divisions being added and almost like a streamline of the competition structure? Do you think that's going to be beneficial for new users coming onto the platform?
Yeah, I do think so. To be fair, again, I think this overall, like, I was a bit hesitant, I guess, with the whole update. It was like I was really happy with it, then I was really upset with it, and then I was like, now I've just come to the whole thing where it's like, although it might not benefit me per se, it's going to be beneficial for us all in the future. So rare. So, you know, uh, yeah, I don't know. The whole update itself, yeah, it's very confusing. Like you said, you had to read for half an hour. A lot of people couldn't be bothered with it either. But I think overall, the divisions is going to be good for So Rare and adding into it, adding new users, and by that time when new users come and stuff, it's going to be, I think, easier to start in the lower division and work your way up because then they could potentially get half decent to good rewards. So yeah, I quite like it. What about yourself?
Yeah, no, I think we spoke about, the whole disconnect or connect between FIFA and So Rare, perhaps. And I think in FIFA, there's always been a division structure, working your way up to get to the top to get better rewards. I think that whole system is going to resonate with FIFA players if they make the jump to Sorare as well.
Great,
So it's that's a massive game. It's a massive market of people and users that could jump over if we see anything to do with that. I know we saw Matt HD Gamer. I don't think he's an ambassador, so I think he just enjoys it at the moment, but he's putting some content out there on Twitter, and that's a good reception for FIFA players. So, you know, if you can get 1% of those people, I'm sure they'll find I'm sure they'll find it easy to adjust with this competition structure.
Can I just say
I've
as
got
well, before we get on to
go
the
on.
next point, is if you're giving someone like Matt HD Gamer abuse, I think you need to give your head a wobble, because yeah, I saw the stuff. Like, I was always quite skeptical about the whole bringing in Matt HD Gamer for what's the word I use? I can't remember the demographic. Yeah, because I always assumed, and I'm sure I'm not the only one on this, is that it's the younger audience, under 18, that that are the FIFA watchers. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you get the odd occasional 20s and whatever else, but typically I feel like if I'm looking at FIFA content, it's under 16. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. That's what I assume. I spoke to
That's what I
Haber
thought as
about
well,
this.
Thomas Cap.
Yeah, I spoke to Haber about this. He assured me that his demographic and the Penthez's demographic is that of 20 to 40, I believe he said. So, I eat my words and that's fine and whatever else. But I think what doesn't sit right with me is when people start saying to Matt HD, like sending him screenshots of his gallery, saying, oh, you don't even think this and you got free tickets and this, that and the other. The only thing I agree with is if Matt doesn't actually end up using Sorare at all, or he just doesn't give two shits about it, whatever else, then giving him tickets and stuff like that, I think is bang out of order. I think you need to reward the people who actually care about the platform. But it's too early to judge, because even with Matt, we saw him countless amount of times, like as well. I don't know if you saw it. He was saying like, I've only just started. I'm playing rivals constantly, and and people just giving him abuse. And it's like, this is what's wrong with the community, because we need to all come together, especially with a massive update like this. And what Matt, of all people, let alone like people like Nepenthes and stuff, Matt can bring an absolute massive amount of traffic, positive traffic as well, to Sorare. So I don't know why we are, jumping on board and saying, oh, screw you, screw this, screw that, you don't care this. It's like, it's bang out of order. So yeah, if you do that, give your head a wobble.
Yeah, so I think this update, we like to talk about news on this channel, on this podcast, but it's a good change. Having divisions is a good change.
Yeah.
And we always like to talk about marketing pushes as well. I think with this new update, potentially in August, they can nail it with the marketing push. We could see a bit of a Sorare boom, and I hope as well.
Yeah, well, we're seeing it with Bitcoin at the moment, going up about $6,000 at the moment over the last few days. So it's gone up quite heavily, and hopefully Sorare can be a beneficiary of that as well. People sort of investing their new earnings and their new profits into something like Sorare, some NFTs and stuff. So I like the whole thing itself.
Definitely.
So
can we touch on Cap 240 as well, Cap? I know you played that. For myself, it was one of my priority competitions.
Yeah.
But removing it made sense, didn't it? I think we all really liked Cap 240.
Yeah.
Removing it made sense. But I want to get your opinion on the new beat the game mode. I don't know if you've seen that.
The different thresholds.
Yeah, so you sort of select your target.
Yeah. What's it? 270, 340, and 390. I think it is on limited.
Correct.
Limited and rare. I think it is. I don't know what it was for super rare and unique, but yeah, to be honest with you, it is quite annoying. Not the fact they're getting rid of Cat 240. I think it was a long time coming. I think for the sustainability again of Sorare, it wasn't sustainable, so they had to figure out something to do it. Doing it within a week, I think, is a bit of a kick in the teeth to many users out there. I think at least a month could have been okay. But the fact you literally like, oh right, this is your last week, guys. This is your last game week, and then we're going straight into this new system, which is diabolical. By the way, I don't think many people will be doing Cap 240 anymore, because What so I play limited. So my limited earnings, I'm sure people know, but I'll just reiterate, is that it was $5 obviously for your 280 points within the Cap 240 mode. Now it's $2 for 270 points. So the math doesn't really work out there either, because you're getting, even if you went for the smallest threshold each week, you're getting $3 less for 10 less points. And it's like, and then you got a massive jump from, I can't even remember what the one above it is. I think it's $15, was it? To 340 or $10 or something like that. I think it might
15 makes sense, yeah.
no, I think it might have been 8 actually. I think 8 is 340 and then 15 or 20 for the top, I think. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was 8. Yeah, if you can look that up, I'd be real. But I'm pretty sure it was $8 for 340 points. And it's like, I don't think, not many people can hit 340 points with a team that's capped at 240 points. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're asking us to get 100 more points equivalent for
It's $8, you're right.
yeah, $8, and that's like what, £6, £6.50, something like that, maybe in England. So yeah, it's a bit silly. I think they did that obviously on purpose, because they said also like, oh, only existing users who have made a Cap 240 team at this time and this time can do it and carry on with it. So new users coming on board won't be able to try, farm, I guess, the $2 or the $15 in rare or whatever it is. And it's just a massive. It's a bit, like I said, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth. It's the one of the downfalls, I think, of this whole update is the how quickly they're changing this particular competition.
And of course, we understand that it had to change. It's just maybe that just week's notice was just a little bit too short.
I thought it would have been, it will stop in August, as in like instead of the beat the game thing, it would just be the normal cap mode and it just finishes in August, but or at least
it's not even ripping the band-aid off, is it? If they wanted to remove it, they just would have got rid of it now.
No, exactly.
No, it's like, oh, we're going to string you along. Here's the beat the game target.
I think what would have been better is if they said, right, instead of you have to choose which threshold you want to be, is that if no matter what, like let's say I had the 350 points, that means so you wouldn't have to choose a threshold, is what I'm saying. So like if I got 350 points, then I get given that $8. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Or if I got 390 points somehow, miraculously, because I don't think anyone in the face of Cap 240 has ever reached 400 points. But let's say you did, with stupid collection bonus, you had a really good game week, and you got 390, then you'll get given that $15, $20, whatever it is. So that's what I think it should be. Rather than, all right, I want to pick this one to be, it should be just, that's your targets and that's what you have to be. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, because imagine you hit 400 points, but you chose Cap 2. You chose 270 points. You'd be livid. Do you know what I mean? Because you could have almost 10x your earnings. So yeah, that's a bit silly, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I think the points as well for that particular if they did listen to me and they changed like that tomorrow, I don't think people will moan about it. I still think that would be really difficult to be able to hit the middle threshold. Do you know? 340 points isn't, it's a good game week, especially for a Cap 240 mode. Do you know? Everyone's capped at that. So, yeah. What about you? What do you think about the whole?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if they left it open, that would have been really cool and almost like softened the blow a bit. We're losing a great competition that a lot of us enjoyed.
Yeah.
If they just said, it's like if you score higher, you get more basically.
Yeah.
But then we're going to remove it in August. I don't know. I think it would have had a really positive response on the community.
Yeah.
But the week's notice, wasn't so positive on the community, I don't think. I think that was a bit harsh. But yeah, I think we're all in agreement that removing it is good for the sustainability of Sorare, and having to buy new cards to get the cash rewards makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I think it's March 29th when they're introducing the in-season competitions for other leagues.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a couple months with some of our new players that we can play around with that and see if that's decent for bringing in cash rewards. So that's really what I'm looking forward to as well. So got to see what happens with the reward structure. Like you said, the boxes. It's important that we know what the weighting is as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's gonna be heavily important, because if it has similar drop rates to that of the rivals, I think that's a big L in my personal opinion. Like, it has to be you have like a 50% chance of a card, and then they can maybe, obviously they'll lessen the chances depending on uh, the cards level anyway. So if it's star or tier one, or that's the only way I can see it. If they do the same thing in rivals, where it's literally like 0.01% chance to get like a tier two, tier one, all this stuff, like I think that would be a massive L. To be honest with you, I do. So
Yeah, we got to see what they are really, don't we? But it's cool that you can get multiple boxes as well. That's a conversation I had with Salah in one of our podcasts. I did think there could be a new sort of a new a new way to sort of present Sorare content in the way of opening boxes. And then Salah was like, it'd have to be mass, and the fact you can win 3 if you do finish in the top 5%, I think it is great actually. Hopefully some good content's going to go around on socials. So we'll have to see what happens there.
I do think, like, personally, like a lot of people, I know you and Jonesy, when we've spoken about this off air and spoken about this privately on Discord, I've always said, like, it makes sense because they're getting rid of Cap 240 modes, because they're making the competitions a lot more harder now. In the sense of, like, because you've got to think about, we're getting rid of the Asia competition, America competition, second division Europe, and this is all being pushed into obviously contender, challenger, and champion. So it's going to be far more people in each particular thing. Like, we used to think what was about 10, depending on the competition. Like, I know for Challenger Europe, I was getting about 9 to 10,000 each week.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine that's literally what, let's say the 9 to 10,000. Let's lessen it. Let's say 5. Let's just say 5, right? Just to even lessen it even more. Then you got another 5 probably from Asia. Then you got another 5 from second division Europe, and then you've also got the people who were in the divisions beforehand. So it's like you're talking probably upwards of 20,000 people, 25,000 people in each competition. So if you were to get in each top 25% and you get your loot box, that's why I think you should be allowed and guaranteed a card, whether that's tier 5, tier or up to tier 2 or tier 1. I think you should be guaranteed it.
Just to add to that as well, I think Sorare did say they're going to add more divisions based on number of entrants. So in their examples for Classic Champion, they gave 5 divisions.
Yeah.
But if there are more entrants, they're going to add more divisions. So I think we spoke about this off there as well. But hopefully, because we've got a lot of tier 5 players, tier 4 players, tier 3 players. We don't have those superstars in our galleries. Hopefully it will just funnel out after a few months, and we're going to be in the competitive league where we deserve to be, against people with similar sort of lineups to us.
Yeah. Well, like I said, like, going off my point from before, like, no matter how many divisions it is, like, obviously they got to fix it. So Division 5 probably won't get up to 3 boxes, it get 2 or 1 or something. But I think regardless, like I said, it still goes on my point, like, you should be almost guaranteed a card. And I know people think, like, probably listening to this think that's nutty because, top 5-10% will be able to get 3-4 cards and whatever. But I think the way you got to think about it is that cap mode's gone. That's 75%, I believe they said, of their what was it? Their additional spendings was going out on. So that's 75% of their thing they're saving. And also, obviously, because we've lost that, we've got no way of obtaining any cash now. So we have to do it by selling now. And it's already difficult to sell cards these days as well. So I think
selling or in season. That's the only way to get cash, I guess.
Yeah, selling or in season. But of course, you're meant to be getting in season from these loot boxes only, aren't you? No more classics. So, which is what it's like anyway every year. But so my point still stands. Like, I personally think that if you come in the top 5-10% and you get given those 3 boxes, because don't forget from the images, they showed, right?
Yeah.
In Champion, I'm trying to see if I can find it here. I can't. But I remember it was limited Classic Champion. So the top end, obviously the top 5 leagues. And it was like, if you're top 100 in Division 5 and whatever, you got a tier 5.
Yeah.
So you got, if those numbers are final, because they're not, I don't think they are anyway. They have said they'll do what they need to do. But it doesn't sound like there's going to be a lot of placements for people to actually obtain an actual asset. Yeah. So if you come top 100, that means you're in the top, 5% of the whole 20. If we talk about again 20, 25,000, right? It could be less, whatever. Let's say 15,000 still. Then you're still in that top echelon. To be top 100 out of 10, 15,000 people is quite some achievement.
Yeah,
And
I
you're
think
only
so.
going to be rewarded a tier 5. Like, again, if the numbers are final. So
Yeah,
you get given a tier 5, and then you get given these 3 loot boxes that should be almost guaranteed another tier 5 to tier 3 or 2, whatever division you're in. You
yeah,
know, and if you got yourself up to a point where you're hitting top 100 in Division 1, then you should get a better chance of getting a star reward because you've battled your way up all those divisions. And you've had to be in the top 25% to be promoted to that division. And you also have to avoid the 50 or 40 or 30% at the bottom to be relegated. So I think you're deserved of being within a good reach of being within a star or tier 1 limited. You know, so yeah, that's my like went on a bit of a ramble, but I hope I put it somewhat
yeah. I
clear.
guess what it comes
Well,
down to is those final numbers. You know, we just got to see what's in those boxes, what the split
it
is
has to be at
across
least
different
fifty
leagues.
percent. I think 50% the chance of a card has to be. If that's your only way, there is no cap 240 mode to grind Ethereum or cash or anything like that. And now you're leaning on having these loot boxes potentially give you something per week. Then yeah, they need to do. It needs to be at least 50% in my opinion.
Yeah. And for your gallery cap, are you going to be focusing on Contender League? Are you going to be branching out into other leagues perhaps with MLS around the corner?
Well, you know,
Um,
my gallery's only small, and but I have full intention to invest more money in the coming months. Hopefully, quite a
yeah.
sizable amount as well, so I can actually
And what
start
what
getting.
strategy do you think you'd be going for then, as a person who's about to inject some cash into the platform? What do
Yeah,
you
I
think you're going
mean,
to
I
go for?
think we've discussed it all off air, and this is a video I want to do alongside with Jonesy as well. We've got this plan, so keep an eye on that. Cheeky plug, but yeah, we want to talk about how having I think 2 to 3 lineups basically in each scarcity, I guess you can say, not scarcity, the classic. You know how you got contender, challenger, and
Yeah.
and champion. To at least I think focus on contender and challenger. So yeah, to be able to keep grinding them, and but there is no real plan at the moment. It's still quite fresh. Like I said, it's not going to be for a few months at least till I invest personally. So in which case, then yeah, I'll have a plan set in place. But to tell you a definitive answer now, I don't really have one. But I
Yeah.
just know
I think
it's
probably like most people, we're just trying to figure it out, aren't we?
yeah,
Really?
exactly. And I've had a few people on in the comments on a video of mine actually saying, "Oh, it's probably not the best time to be buying cards," and I'm just like, I think it's still a good time to buy cards, in my opinion. Like, I think you have to prepare for August. Like, you can't wait till August because that's when prices probably will go up once people actually fully understand the gameplay. So I think, yeah, buying cheaper cards that are, like let's say, for example, like I know there's Barini who plays for Sampdoria and he's injured at the moment, but he's cheap. He's like, I think I picked him up for about £2.50. But prior to his injury, he was putting up really, really good scores. So that's someone I can use within, is it Contender? Is the smallest one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something I can use. I know personally I can use in my Contender lineups in Classic,
Classic. Yeah.
So, yeah, and then obviously if you want to pay a bit more, you can already get an in-season card and you can use them. So I don't think this is a bad time to buy. I think that's a little bit of a maybe misconception. People
Yeah, I
thinking,
don't think
oh,
it's a bad time to buy either, to be honest. I think prices are, especially for tier fives, tier three, tier fours, and maybe some tier threes, they went down a bit after the announcement as expected. Not as much utility. People don't want those mid players anymore. But that's not to say they can't still smash. If you do the scouting right, I'm sure you can find players that
well, that's exactly it. Because to be
are
honest
out
with you,
form.
yeah, to be honest with you, that was one of my things I was worried about initially with my channel because I thought my channel obviously is based around budgeted players, as the players that are low L15 to be able to put in your Captain 40 mode, so you get better return on investment. But I think they still have a place within Sorare, even now. Like not so much as what they did before because it was churning out it was churning out the Ethereum or the cash. But you can still use these players who are still hitting you 50, 60, so respectable scores who aren't exactly premium prices, but they are cheap. And they can get you to that top 25% because they're quite consistent at hitting 50, 60 scores. They might not be the hundreds, 90s, 80s scorers, but they hit you quite consistently and they don't let you down, is what I'm trying to say. So they're 50, 60 scores. So, yeah I think there's a lot of, you can rely and make a team around a couple of players who are like that, who are literally like top 25%. Basically, that's what you want to aim for, really, isn't it? When you go to these divisions,
well,
top 25%.
like you just said, because there's multi-entry, you could actually enter in your safe, steady Eddie team.
Exactly,
People that get 50 plus scores across the board. Looking at 250 plus points. Maybe you need 350, but with a few decisives in there, then you're looking good.
Yeah.
And then you can go for like an aggressive team. And maybe you can go for a mixture as well, like some guys with really solid AA, and then guys who just have to smash to get good scores.
That's another good point, mate, as well, because you said about, I completely forgot to mention that, the multiple entries. Like, there is these cards who are probably, tier 4, tier 3s, who are literally, a couple of quid each one. A lot of people are going to shy away from these because they won't win them the rewards and stuff. But again, depending on what the percentages and drop rates are in these loot boxes, that's my idea. If these drop rates are, and hopefully they are 50% onwards of dropping a card, then that's a good way to farm cards. Do you know what I mean? Like literally putting in a safe team that's going to get you hopefully probably around 340 points. That's what it looks like you're going to have to do. A rough guess. Obviously, not having the.
And as far as I'm aware, it's uncapped at the moment.
Yeah,
is that right?
and it's uncapped as well. So there are still scorers like there's Kevin Van Veen, again, another example that we know who absolutely smashed it at Motherwell, had 10 goals on the bounce, literally 10. Go have a look, guys, on Sorare data. Kevin Van Veen used to play for Motherwell, scored 10 on the bounce, moved to Groningen, who were in the second tier of the Eredivisie. And he's come back and he's moved to Kilmarnock. And he's only at £5, but his L15 is like 62 or 65 or something like that. So and he's only like £5. Do you know what I mean? Instead of going for somebody, I don't know of anyone else that's sort of hitting those scores that is cheap. But could you name an expensive one?
Not really.
Well, let's say you did talk about your Messis, your Griezmanns, things like that, because Messi's only in Challenger, isn't he, at the end of the day, because he's MLS.
MLS, yeah.
So if you wanted to find a good contender one, Kevin Van Veen's probably a good shout, So, yeah, there's still reason to scout. There's still reason to look for these sort of players who are, like Ontiveros, like I said, like he's not an absolute baller, but every now and again he will hit a peak of 80, 90, 100.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I think most importantly, he's historically he's capable of hitting the peaks, isn't he?
He's historically, like I had the draft was a John Nellis, and he saw Ontiveros, was like, why is this guy so cheap? So there are people, there are players out there, and I will be showcasing them, and I'm sure you will be as well, to people. So I think that was the only thing I was initially worried about. For scouting.
Because it's shifting of the mindset now, isn't it, really? It's like before, especially for my gallery as well, I'm sure a lot of people are the same. Before it's like, oh shit, I need to get someone who's going to get me 50 plus. Really, that's all I need, like to get the threshold. Now it's like, I need someone who's going to get me 70 plus. Like I need smashers across the board. My defender needs to get 40 points of AA. My keeper needs to keep a clean sheet. But that's going to be fun. That's going to be, that's what I'm excited about personally, is that it's going to be a whole shift of strategy, shift of mindset when I'm building my lineups now. So really excited to bring some star players, as Nihilist would say.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
So no, I think overall, we after we've digested the update a bit, drowned a bit in our sorrows, but we've seen the light. I think both of us, and I think hopefully it's a positive update for Sorare in the long term.
Well, I don't think you've really been drowning in your sorrows. You've always been quite positive. So,
I try to stay positive. These working competition is horrible.
Yeah, off air all the time. He's like, yeah, come on, guys, like we can do this. We can do this. And me and Ellis are just me and Jonesy are just like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like we're just, and then we got Mr. Positive here, like geeing us up. So it's always good to have that nice little balance. But I wouldn't say you've been drowning in your sorrows by far.
I haven't. But maybe inside I have a bit about Cat 240. That is, it is sad.
Yeah, R.I.P. Cat 240.
R.I.P. Yeah, exactly. Oh no. So yeah, no, overall, yeah, pretty happy with it. I mean, we've got that transition period. We've still got 240, 220, 270 until August. And I think I'll be playing those. It's really just going to be about sort of should I be putting my lineups in there or should I be putting them in classic contender, for example? What's going to be the better chance of getting a reward?
Yeah.
So yeah, we've just got to play that by ear, really, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is unfortunately playing it by ear. Like overall, like again, if I was to be all nitty gritty, like I wasn't. This comes off the topic a little bit, but even the pictures they showed us, or shown us on the update, the article, it's like even like I don't know, even the pictures they showed us weren't very clear or concise. Like it was like even like you looking at the photos, if you see them now, like they're very like oversaturated and stuff like that as well. So it's very difficult to just read the little small print, and
I agree.
I don't know what it is. I don't know why they chose to go this sort of approach. Like it's almost like again, I don't really get the theme of it as well. Like when you look at it, it looks like almost like it's on in space or on the moon. Like
I thought it was in space. I thought that when I first saw the image at the
Yeah.
trailer, I thought that was an alien. I don't know if you saw it. It's actually a trophy, but I thought it was an alien like looking at the screen. I was like, what's
oh,
going
the
on there?
trophy was it? A lot of people speculated there's a trophy there that looked like the Saudi League Cup. I think it was the Saudi League title.
Ah,
So a lot
Sorare
of people-
conspiracy.
Yeah, a lot of people was that's something I saw. That was something out there. But yeah, overall, I don't think. I think that we watched obviously the Sorare Ramble. Me, and you listened to it with Jonesy the other day,
We did.
which was well done, boys. That was a good little podcast, and yeah, that made it a bit better for us because it was able to sort of all the questions we had initially. There's still quite a few questions to be asked, but it's nice to get it from the horse's mouth. So Nilas and Dan, etc. So.
And Guy as well.
And Guy also, yeah. So, yeah, but it was a bit of a bizarre, like I said, little pictures and stuff like that. Just left more
Yeah,
questions
picture
than
of it.
answers.
I know they use the term special weeklies a lot, and I think again that's another like we've got to see it to believe it, and
Yeah.
if it's consistent, if it is, because I think they said as well, it's not just going to be midweeks. Special weeklies can happen over the weekend as well, so that's exciting.
Yeah. And it sounded like, from what we
okay.
heard from it as well, like there was an example someone gave about the Euros and saying that how the Euro cards will have their own specific special weekly, which is good as well because then you've got a real good utility with anyone who does have that utility of playing for their nation, which is really nice.
Yeah,
And you
most
can chuck them in.
importantly, because of the way contender, challenger, and all these new leagues are split, people will be able to pair up their players just like they were able to before. I know that's obviously upset a few people. I know the galleries were kind of structured around. I think it was Liga MX in America. I'm not sure if they're in the same league, but I have to double check. Up here,
The
So
American
again, it's
leagues,
really-
yeah. So
yeah, apparently they're kind of split. I think.
they're in the bottom, aren't they? And MLS are in Challenger.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's contender,
So-
challenger, champion, isn't it? That's how it contender, challenger.
Yeah, champions of the tops. That's just Bundesliga, La Liga, Premier League, Serie A, and League One.
I had a few questions about the how. Like I know they said they chose it via like Opta and things like
They
this,
did.
but it's still quite bizarre. Like, was it even the Danish league in the challenger?
Yeah, Danish Leagues
Norwegian.
and Challenger.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, so it was like that was ahead of I don't know, even things like the Scottish league and things like this,
Yeah.
and the Argentine league and yeah, so it was a little bit.
Well, we've been
bizarre.
watching La Liga too, and I think that's a brilliant league, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
But this is
Yeah.
one of my questions to you, Cap. We said it off air, and if anyone's got the answers to this, I'd love to hear it. But it's the way they've done that league ranking is obviously from a present moment in time by Opta.
Yeah.
Will that change every year? So essentially, can leagues move up and can they move down?
Yeah.
Based on their Opta rankings. So
Well-
I really want that question answered.
Yeah, well, for anyone who plays like Football Manager, is that we know obviously if you look at the league rankings are an actual thing in it, aren't they? So like,
I haven't played them.
but yeah. So what it will say the top however many leagues are in it, and it will say the top 10 like the La Liga has overtaken Premier League, or the Serie A has gone down one, or
Right.
like
Okay.
things like this. So yeah, I wonder if there's like an actual proper ranking system for leagues
Yeah,
rather than
I
going
think
to
it
Opta.
should make people aware of that. That like, you know, for example, Scottish League could move to Challenger. Leagues are fluid basically. And
Personally,
obviously
I would say not to bother. I think unless you did again another update. I don't know how you'd probably sort of keep that in check, really, and how you could
well,
prepare
they
for
use their
something like
external
that.
data source Opta, don't they?
Yeah,
So they should just make people aware that because we use Opta, which is an external data source, that can change every year.
yeah,
If that's what it is, or if they just locked it this present moment in time, that doesn't make sense to me. But we'll see.
yeah. Agreed. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But most of my gallery's in Contender, so I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I've got contender bits, and I've obviously we got the Gijon who beat your boys last night, which is really nice. So and I've got obviously the in season. So I'm hoping
Cracking goal, by the way.
that was a beautiful goal. If you haven't seen it,
That
go
was
look
a
it
great
up.
goal.
But yeah, it was a good win. Good win last night. But yeah, hopefully the Gijon lads will be able to help me, because I think was it yourself or Jonesy again off air had said to me, "Oh well, imagine if Gijon get promoted and stuff." And I'm
I
like,
was just about to say that. I was just say, you could be in. What's the top one? Champion.
in
Yeah.
champion, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Going all the way from contender to champion, all from just a promotion.
Yeah, that is weird.
So yeah, it's a little weird, but yeah, would I have utility in them? I don't know. Like you said, if I had like I don't know, they're against Celta Vigo or something like that at home, and maybe I've got a chance of utilising them then. But apart from that, yeah, I don't think I want them being
I think
promoted.
you'd rather them stay
I think
in
I'd rather them
Contender
stay. I think they just strengthen and yeah, do like a Leicester, Southampton, just stay there
and Leeds. Yeah.
and just win. Yeah, Leeds. So yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Awesome. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about? I know this is going to be a short pod today, because I think we didn't want to cover it too much, did we?
No, there's not. I mean, we're all fresh to it, aren't we? It's not been out that long.
Yeah.
There's some things around there where people are like, I'm going to go about it this way and that way, but it's not like we can see if it works or doesn't work. So, like I said, my initial when this update happened, I spoke to Jonesy in depth and in length about this. It was literally just farming these loot boxes, like farm the loot boxes and get yourself to open however many you can open, 3, 4, 5 a week if you can, and then just really just keep and then sell on the cards. Do you know what I mean? Because there should be some hype for in season, because people at the end of the day want cash rewards.
Yeah.
So it's just almost just going round and round and round like that, and just keep farming and keep getting promoted, so you better your chances of a higher, better tier reward, and just keep going round and round and just using that as a cog. That's my initial thoughts on doing it, and that's probably the way I'm going to go about it. And now that we can do multiple entries, it's going to be good, like I said, to have at least 2 teams for contender and challenger, and hopefully for champion as well, to come in those top 25% echelon every week. And then you've got a lot of loot boxes to open. Probably going to have a shit ton of arena tickets to open, or and things like this. But hopefully the boost, the percentages are much greater than what they are in rivals, because I think that's just too low otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No one wants to watch reward opening videos of limited boosts, to be honest with you. So I'd hope the percentage rate is decent.
no, it's not like people. It's for me, for like I've got only a small gallery, and literally every week when I've not won anything, the only thing I've got forward to look open is coins. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a bit boring, and the last thing I want to do is look forward to a loot box and it be a boost or a arena ticket or something like that. I think the arena tickets and stuff should stay what they are in rivals, but I don't really think they should come across the pro. But it looks like they are going to do that, aren't they? So
Yeah, we'll have to see. I think I might be taking a slightly different approach, because I've been fortunate enough to buy some in-season cards. I've obviously got old season collections as well. But I think come March, I'll be trying to enter them into in-season competitions as much as possible, farming cash, and then hopefully reinvesting it for the summer, maybe with the MLS season. coming around. But yeah, it's a nice little cycle. I think they're doing the right thing.
Are you looking in? Because didn't they say the Premier League is going to be this special weekly is going to be permanent now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's already been made permanent. When I saw the deadline lock last Friday, it was there again. So, and I think we did hint on. I think Nihilus hinted that it would never disappear, basically. So yeah, getting a Premier League team is I think it's got to be done. So hopefully, you can reinvest the cash into a pretty competitive Premier League team, because then you have the once they become all season cards for next year, then you can just enter them in and get new season cards. I guess the only risk is you kind of want the team to stay together. If players start moving away to go to different, if they jump across a different league from champion to challenger, that'd be quite annoying. So you just got to be pretty careful with who you scout, basically.
Yeah, it's true. And they forgot to add as well for the in season you can use one classic, can't you?
That's
as
right.
well.
Yeah.
So I think what people were worried about was like, oh, if I'm trying to do this classic to in-season grind and I'm starting, let's say you just had nothing but classic in your gallery, you can still churn out, your random midfield, forward, defender and stuff, and still use the goalkeeper you had for your classic, and put them in your team. So, which is also a nice little add-on as well, I guess. So you didn't have to have a full collection of in-season cards, because we saw that with the Premier League weekly, didn't we?
Yeah.
That you had to have just all new in-season cards, and even like Jose Sarr and stuff. His cheapest was like £35, wasn't it, for his new in-season card? So they all just skyrocketed, especially the goalkeepers. So it's definitely good that you can use a classic card. That's also another positive.
And like you said, I think the most common strategy would probably be just getting an all-season goalkeeper, right? Because it's cheaper than doing the other positions. But maybe people will do other things, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I am intrigued. Like I said, I was up and down about the update originally. I was a bit like, oh, this looks good, and then it was like, oh, because the loot boxes didn't sound like they're going to be that great. But yeah, I'm a bit more positive to it, especially hearing about the So Rare Ramble podcast with the guys from So Rare, and hearing them say there's going to be a lot of special weeklies and midweek tournaments and all these little competitions. I think they're going to be good, and I think it's going to have a lot of use case for those low L15 players and stuff, because it sounds like Cap 240 will come in every now and again as well.
Yeah, I think they mentioned that. They said it might return as a special weekly, so that'd be exciting as always.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think panic sell. I think have hopefully some sort of, like, if anyone wants advice, like for me personally, I don't know what I'm doing. So, but like I said, just don't panic sell. Just relax. Think of a game plan. Whether you're looking at, trying to churn out as much Cap 240 thresholds now before they disappear in August, because 270 should be easy enough to hit, especially with captain bonuses and collection bonuses if you have any. And just churning out even the smallest, the 270 thresholds, just it's money at the end of the day, and it does disappear in August. So, do that, or build towards having a couple of lineups in contender, challenger, and champion. That's the most, that's the best way, I think, to approach this, is having 2 to 3 lineups in each one, so that you literally will have at least a few loot boxes to open after each game week. So that increases your chances tenfold, and then just keep building up the divisions. So I don't know if you had any, what your sort of approach would be like that before we start unwinding here.
Yeah, I think probably exactly the same as you. I think it's going to be real. It's going to be a real question of should I invest now, or should I wait until the off season to, like, should I invest now into new season cards and then spend my time from March until the end of the season in the in-season comp getting cash, and then you're one step ahead and having an old season collection? Or do you just buy those cards in the summer when they drop in price before the season starts, but then you can only enter them into Classic? So that's the decision you're going to have to make, because I think, as we've spoken off air, we probably predict the new player prices when they release new cards to just be so high. So probably unwise to buy then. We'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's been a great pod, man, as always.
Yeah, it's been a nice little short one, so hopefully it's easier to listen for people. Let us know, guys, if you want a shorter podcast like this, or if you don't mind the old hour and a half, 2 hours. I think obviously naturally when we have guests on, that it's there's a lot of questions to be asked, and I want to hear their stories and elaborate on certain things. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's been good. So make sure to rate us 5 stars on
always.
Spotify, please. That'd be good. And yeah, you do the
Yeah,
outro,
appreciate
mate.
you guys
You go
being
on.
here. Yeah, yeah, like Cav said, rate us 5 stars, guys. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I think we're close to 100 subscribers, so it'd be really helpful if you could drop us up, guys.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll catch you all very, very soon.
See you guys later.
Take care, guys.